Samos, the home of Pythagoras and the goddess Hera. Famous for its rolling mountains covered in forest and vineyards, which emerges behind crystal clear beaches, ancient ruins and traditional villages, both those in the rugged mountains and those at the mostly calm coast. Samos is what I would consider a medium-sized Greek island. They definitely come much bigger, but plenty islands are even smaller. The island, which is located very close to the coast of Turkey, is 468 square kilometers and inhabits about 42,000 residents. Before we start, please feel free to subscribe to Globus Travelers for more videos. Number 10. Timios Stavros. The monastery of Timios Stavros was founded back in 1591 by a monk named Nilus. In 1838 they started building the monastery into its current present form. I only quickly visited and didn't venture inside the buildings, but it seemed a bit worn down, but still with the potential to be one of the better places to visit on Samos. If it was shown a bit more love and perhaps resources, who knows what it might have been. Number 9. Samos Town, formerly known as Vathi. Samos Town is the port town and capital of Samos. The town is built in the middle of the 18th century, known as the port of Vathi. The town got its current name in 1958 when the lower and upper parts of Vathi combined into one unit. It is located on the northeastern shores of Samos and is home to about 6,000 people. You can walk alongside the promenade or venture into the hills and get some great views. I tried to enter the wine museum during its supposed opening hours without any luck. Maybe you'll have better luck than me. Number 8. Samos Heraion. The ancient ruins of Heraion was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site back in 1992. It is located 6 kilometers southwest of Pythagoreio, which is one of the main resorts of the island. The Heraion of Samos was a significant sanctuary to the goddess of Hera. The first temple of Hera was constructed during the 8th century BC, entering a prosperous era in the 7th century BC, and then Samos becoming known as a nautical powerhouse through the 6th century BC due to its easy access to Asia Minor. Samos is where Hera and Zeus had a honeymoon for 300 years. Number 7. Vakakis Winery. Vakakis Winery is a small charming winery in the mountains of Samos. It seems to be run by a family. The area is very cozy and laid back with plenty of seating options. It was pretty great as I arrived just after a bigger tour group. The local grape variety seemed to be predominantly some kind of Muscat Blanc, and it definitely tasted similar to the Muscat and Muscatus I had before. Overall, the product seems to be of a pretty high quality for the price that you paid. It's very affordable. I came alone and I paid, I think, just about €5. I got a small plate of cheese, tomatoes, olives, 1.5 liters of water, as well as a small wine tasting. All wines were introduced in person, as well as a tasting map was handed to me, so I could see the grape varieties and potential food pairings. It was a very good experience, and it was very cheap. Thoroughly recommended. Number 6, which is going to be very hard to pronunciate. Ormos Marathokampou. Ormos Marathokampou was a bit of a surprise, as I did not originally intend to visit. It is a cozy little fishing village that has a lot of similar Samosian charms that you could find in Kokkari and Pythagoreio. It is just way smaller and less amount of people. It is probably not enough to go on a trip on its own, but it's definitely worth a stop as a part of a day trip. Go for a hike at the small promenade, have a view of the small fishing boats, and maybe consider having your lunch here instead of a busier resort town. Number 5. Manolates. Manolates village of Samos is one of the most picturesque and well-maintained traditional mountain villages on the whole island. It is located 25 kilometers southwest. It is located 25 kilometers northwest of Samos Town, in the greenest parts of the island, surrounded by lush green forest and great views. You can either stroll through the narrow and colorful alleyways and small squares with its tavernas, or venture into the lush mountainsides. The village is very easy to get to if you use the main northern road, and the parking space is better than most of the other comparable villages. Number 4. Pythagoras Cave. Pythagoras probably don't need a big introduction. He was born 570 years BC, a famous philosopher, teacher and mathematician, as well as so much more. Today most likely famous for his a in second plus b in second equals c in second. You know, the whole triangle thing. To be honest, I'm still not sure which way to get here is the best. Embarrassingly enough, I first went through the dirt roads from the south. I turned around as it got too uncomfortable to drive, and you know, insurance and all that. Looking at Google Maps, I turned around just a few hundred meters before the dirt turned to asphalt. I didn't have any reception, so I couldn't really have known. So I went all the way around through a mountain village called Marathokampou, and here the roads were much nicer. The hike itself from the small parking area was not that challenging. I honestly expected much worse. A few places it maybe lacked a bit of maintenance, or the steps were very steep. The cave at the end is very nice, just like the views. Number 3. Samostan, Megali, Panagia. The monastery of Megali, Panagia is one of the most beautiful monasteries on Samos. It was founded in 1586 by the monks Nilos and Dionysos. The former monk Nilos also found number 10 on the list, Timios Stavros, 5 years later. Inside the monastery you will find a very nice courtyard with a church in the middle of it. Compared to the monastery of Timios Stavros, this is both better maintained, had a better view, and also had better access through the roads and parking facilities. Number 2. Pythagoreio. Pythagoreio could easily have been number 1 in this video. It is, after all, the tourism hotspot on Samos, and it is very easy to understand why. It is one of the most charming towns of any of the Greek islands, with its colored houses, tavernas and fishing boats. Beside its charms, Pythagoreio has many things to discover within walking distance. The Blue Street is a cozy little street that is well visited when it's not raining. Yeah, I would definitely recommend going while it's not raining. The archaeological museum is much bigger than anticipated, with 2 levels and its outdoor area. It truly goes to show just how significant Samos had been through the ages. If you're willing to walk, you still have 2 more interesting places around the town. Both are also accessible by taxis or rental cars. The first one is Panagia Spiliani Monastery, which is looking out at the sea, and Pythagoreio from the heights. The most impressive thing here is probably the cave, which goes pretty far into the mountains. Honestly, this cave is better than the cave found at the cave of Pythagoras. The second option is a tunnel of Eupalinos. I bought the small ticket. Honestly, the whole thing felt a bit rushed. I wasn't allowed to film on the first part in there, and people just start rushing out at the end, so I didn't even have much footage from there. And now it's time for number 1. Number 1 is Kokkari. Kokkari is not a stranger to most who frequent Samos, and I'm sure most first-time visitors is recommended to go to this laid-back yet beautiful seaside town on the northern shores of Samos. You could easily split Kokkari into 2 halves. The eastern part is a picturesque traditional village like no other, full of restaurants, tavernas, small boats, you name it. The western end is a bit more rugged, with a main road going through, but you will still be rewarded with a long beach, cafes and restaurants. Kokkari is also surrounded by even nicer beaches if you're willing to take just a short drive. You can find them on both the west and towards the east. The town is also very close to great hiking areas and the greenest part of the island. Maybe take a trip towards Manolates or voller villages. If you know anything interesting about Samos or feel like other places deserve a spot in your top 10, please share it with the rest of us. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and see you in the next one. Take care and thank you for watching.